What if your feminine energy could captivate any man without even trying? Carl Jung's secret reveals why. In a world where so many chase love by hiding their true selves, there's a power within you that draws love naturally, your authentic feminine energy. Today, we'll uncover Jung's wisdom on the anima to show how living from your true self creates an irresistible pull that men feel but can't explain. Through Sarah's inspiring story and practical steps, you'll learn how to radiate a magnetic energy that transforms your relationships. Ever wondered why some women attract love effortlessly, without a word? Stay until the end. This could unlock your deepest power. Let's dive into the magic of your feminine energy with Carl Jung's guidance. Have you ever noticed a man stop in his tracks, drawn to a woman without knowing why? It's not her words, her looks, or anything she does. It's a feeling, like an invisible current pulling him closer. Carl Jung called this the anima, the feminine energy within a man's unconscious that shapes how he connects with women. When a woman lives authentically, radiating her true essence, she awakens this hidden part of him, creating a magnetic attraction he can't explain. In this chapter, we'll explore Jung's concept of the anima, why it drives men to feel an unexplainable pull, and how Sarah's story shows this power in action. Let's dive into the heart of feminine energy and its captivating force. Carl Jung believed every man carries an inner feminine archetype, the anima deep within his psyche. In the archetypes and the collective unconscious, he wrote, "The anima is the archetype of life itself. This isn't just an idea of woman in a man's mind. It's a living force, a reservoir of emotion, intuition, and vulnerability that men often suppress in their daily lives. When a man meets a woman who embodies these qualities, authenticity, emotional depth, quiet strength, his anima stirs, creating a connection that feels like destiny. It's not about her being perfect, it's about her being real, sparking something primal and unspoken in his soul. Let's meet Sarah, a 32-year-old artist living in a busy city. For years, Sarah struggled with dating. She tried to be the perfect woman, polished, charming, always saying the right thing, but her relationships fizzled out. Men would seem interested at first, but the spark faded, leaving Sarah feeling unseen, frustrated. She began questioning what she was doing wrong. Was she not pretty enough? Not interesting enough then? One summer, everything changed. Sarah decided to stop performing. She started showing up to dates as her true self, messy emotions, quirky passions, and all. At an art gallery opening, she met David. Without trying to impress him, she shared her love for painting and her fears of not being enough. To her surprise, David was captivated not by a polished version of her, but by her raw, authentic energy. Carl Jung would say Sarah awakened David's anima. The anima is like a bridge to a man's unconscious, connecting him to feelings he's buried, vulnerability, creativity, emotional depth. When Sarah stopped hiding her imperfections and shared her true self, she became a mirror for David's anima. He didn't just see a woman, he felt a pull towards something deeper, a part of himself he'd forgotten. Carl Jung explained in 2 essays on analytical psychology that the anima is a natural archetype that expresses the fact that a man has a minority of feminine qualities. When these qualities, sensitivity, intuition, are repressed, a man unconsciously seeks them in a woman who embodies them. Sarah's authenticity, her willingness to be vulnerable, sparked that connection in David. This is why men feel an unexplainable pull. It's not about logic or appearances, it's about projection. Carl Jung taught that men project their anima onto women who reflect its qualities. When Sarah shared her fears and passions openly, David didn't just see her, He saw a reflection of the emotional depth he'd suppressed in his own life. He couldn't explain why he was drawn to her, only that he felt alive in her presence. Carl Jung wrote, "Every man carries within him the eternal image of woman. When a woman lives from herself, her true essence, she becomes a living symbol of that image, stirring a man's soul before his mind can catch up." Let's make this real for you. Have you ever seen a woman captivate someone without trying? Maybe she wasn't the loudest or most glamorous, but her presence felt undeniable, like a quiet force that shifted the room. That's the anima at work. Carl Jung believed this pull happens because the anima connects us to the collective unconscious, a shared reservoir of archetypes that shape human experience. When a woman embodies feminine energy, authenticity, vulnerability, intuition, she taps into this universal force, creating a resonance that men feel on a soul level, not just a physical one. But here's what most people miss. The anima doesn't awaken through performance. Sarah learned this the hard way. In her perfect dating days, she tried to be what she thought men wanted: charming, agreeable, flawless. But this persona, the mask we wear to please others, blocked her true energy. Carl Jung warned that the persona disconnects us from the self, the core of who we are. When Sarah let go of that mask and showed up as herself, flaws, fears, and passions included, she radiated a frequency that David couldn't ignore. Her authenticity didn't just attract him, it invited him to connect with his own suppressed emotions. This isn't about manipulation or seduction. Carl Jung's Anima teaches that true attraction happens when a woman is whole, not when she's trying to be what someone else wants. Sarah's story shows this shift. At the gallery, she didn't try to charm David with witty banter or a perfect smile. She shared a story about a painting that moved her to tears, revealing her vulnerability. David later told her, "I don't know why, but I couldn't stop listening to you." Carl Jung would say this was Sarah's feminine energy, herself awakening David's anima, creating a bond that felt effortless, yet profound. The power of the anima lies in its ability to connect souls, not just bodies or minds. Carl Jung believed that when a man feels this pull, it's not just about the woman, it's about meeting a part of himself he's lost touch with. For David, Sarah's openness reminded him of his own buried creativity, his longing for emotional connection. Their bond wasn't just romantic, it was transformative, pushing both to grow. In the next chapter, we'll explore what feminine energy really means through Carl Jung's lens, not performance, but truth, and how Sarah's journey shows its magnetic power. Stay with us to uncover the essence of attraction that captivates without effort. What makes a woman unforgettable isn't her polished words or flawless appearance, it's the energy she radiates when she's fully herself. Carl Jung's wisdom teaches that true feminine energy flows from authenticity, not from performing to please others. It's a magnetic force that captivates without effort, rooted in the self, the core of who you are rather than the persona, the mask we wear to fit in. In this chapter, we'll define feminine energy through Carl Jung's lens, explore why it's about truth rather than performance, and see how Sarah's journey reveals its transformative power. Let's uncover the essence of feminine energy that draws love naturally. Carl Jung believed that the most powerful connections come from living authentically, not from trying to be what others expect. In Psychological Types, he described the persona as a mask of the collective psyche, a facade we adopt to gain approval. But when a woman lives from herself, her true essence, unfiltered by societal pressures, she radiates a frequency that's magnetic. Feminine energy, in Carl Jung's view, isn't about being soft, sweet, or perfect. It's about emotional depth, vulnerability, and inner fullness. It's the quiet strength of a woman who knows her worth and doesn't need external validation to feel complete. Let's return to Sarah, the 32-year-old artist we met in Chapter 1. Before her transformation, Sarah spent years performing on dates, trying to be the ideal woman, always charming, always agreeable, always polished. She thought this persona would make men love her, but it left her feeling empty. Men would enjoy her company at first, but the connections never lasted. Why? Because Sarah was hiding her true self, her quirky love for abstract art, her insecurities about her career, her raw emotions. Carl Jung would say her persona was blocking her feminine energy, creating a shallow attraction that couldn't sustain a deeper bond. Everything changed when Sarah decided to stop performing. At a friend's dinner party, she met David again, the man from the art gallery. This time, she didn't try to impress him. Instead of crafting witty responses, she shared a story about a painting she'd been working on, one inspired by a moment of grief in her life. Her voice cracked as she spoke, and she didn't hide it. To her surprise, David leaned in, captivated, not by a perfect act, but by her raw honesty. Carl Jung would say Sarah's feminine energy was shining through, not because she was trying to be attractive, but because she was living from herself, unafraid to be real. Feminine energy, through Carl Jung's lens, is about presence, not performance. It's the courage to show up as you are, flaws, passions, and all without needing to prove your worth. Carl Jung wrote in Modern Man, In Search of a Soul, "We cannot love truly if we are not brave enough to be true." When Sarah stopped hiding her grief and shared her authentic self, she created a space where David felt safe to be himself. 2. Her vulnerability wasn't weakness. It was a strength that invited a soul-level connection. This is what makes feminine energy so powerful. It's not about manipulation or chasing love. It's about being so fully yourself that love finds you. Let's bring this to your life. Have you ever felt pressured to act a certain way to be loved, smiling more, saying the right things, hiding your imperfections? Maybe you've dimmed your quirks or softened your emotions to seem more likable. Carl Jung's wisdom shows that this persona disconnects you from your feminine energy. When you let go of the need to perform, you radiate a truth that's magnetic. Think of a woman who walks into a room and shifts the energy, not because she's loud or flashy, but because her presence feels real. That's feminine energy, a vibration of authenticity that draws others in without effort. But here's the catch. Embracing your true self isn't always easy. Society often teaches women to be perfect, to be loved, always kind, always composed, always pleasing. Sarah struggled with this. 2. She feared that showing her messy emotions or unconventional passions would push people away. But Carl Jung taught that true power comes from integrating all parts of yourself, even the ones you've been told to hide. When Sarah shared her grief-inspired painting, she wasn't just being vulnerable, she was claiming her wholeness. David didn't fall for a polished version of her. He was drawn to the woman who dared to be real, imperfections and all. This shift from performance to truth is what makes feminine energy irresistible. Carl Jung's concept of individuation, the journey to become your whole self, explains why. When you stop trying to fit into someone else's mold, you align with yourself, radiating a frequency that resonates with others. For Sarah, this meant embracing her love for art, her moments of doubt, and her emotional depth. At the dinner party, David later told her, "I felt like I could be myself around you." Her feminine energy created a space where he didn't need to perform either, sparking a connection that felt effortless yet profound. Feminine energy isn't about being the most beautiful or the most charming. It's about being the most you. Carl Jung wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." When Sarah stopped chasing approval and started living from her truth, she became magnetic. Her energy wasn't loud or demanding. It was quiet, steady, and undeniable. Men didn't just notice her, they felt her, because her presence carried the weight of authenticity. In the next chapter, we'll explore the 4 specific qualities of feminine energy that make it so captivating, and how Sarah embodied them to transform her relationships. Stay with us to discover how you can radiate this magnetic power. 2. What makes a woman's energy so captivating that it draws love without effort? It's not about perfection or charm, it's about embodying qualities that resonate with the soul. Carl Jung's wisdom reveals that feminine energy becomes magnetic when it flows from authenticity, vulnerability, intuition, and inner strength. In this chapter, we'll explore 4 specific qualities of feminine energy that make it irresistible. Inspired by Carl Jung's teachings on the Anima and Individuation, through Sarah's story, we'll see how these qualities transformed her relationships and how you can cultivate them to radiate your own magnetic power. Let's dive into the essence of what makes feminine energy unforgettable. Carl Jung taught that feminine energy isn't about fitting into a societal mold, it's about living from yourself, the core of who you are. When a woman aligns with her true essence, she radiates a frequency that captivates others, not through manipulation, but through presence. These 4 qualities, authenticity, vulnerability, intuition, and inner strength, are rooted in Carl Jung's concept of individuation, the journey to become whole. They're not tactics to win love. They're ways of being that naturally draw the right connections to you. Let's break them down and see how Sarah embodied them to create a transformative bond with David. Quality 1. Authenticity, being true to your essence. The first quality is authenticity, showing up as your real self, without pretending to be someone else. Carl Jung wrote in Modern Man in Search of a Soul, "We cannot love truly if we are not brave enough to be true." Authenticity means embracing your quirks, passions, and values, even if they don't fit the perfect image. For Sarah, this meant letting go of her polished dating persona. At a coffee shop date with David, she didn't hide her love for abstract art, even though she worried it might seem weird. Instead of playing it safe, she shared a story about a painting that captured her chaotic emotions. David was drawn to her honesty, not her perfection. Authenticity is magnetic because it invites others to be real. 2. Creating a bond that feels genuine and deep. Quality 2. Vulnerability, sharing your true self. The second quality is vulnerability, the courage to share your fears, doubts, or imperfections. Carl Jung believed vulnerability connects us to the anima, the emotional depth within. Sarah learned this at a pivotal moment with David. During a walk in the park, she opened up about her fear of failing as an artist, expecting him to pull away. Instead, David shared his own insecurities about his career, and their conversation deepened. Carl Jung would say, Sarah's vulnerability awakened David's anima, creating a safe space for emotional connection. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's a strength that builds trust. When you share your true self, like Sarah did, you invite a soul-level bond that's hard to forget. Quality 3. Intuition, trusting your inner voice. The third quality is intuition, listening to your gut to guide your choices. Not overthinking or seeking approval. Carl Jung saw intuition as a bridge to the unconscious, where the anima resides. Sarah struggled with overthinking in past relationships, always second-guessing her words. But with David, she started trusting her instincts. At a dinner, when she felt a quiet urge to ask David about his dreams, she followed it. leading to a conversation that felt effortless and profound. Carl Jung wrote in Psychological Types, "Intuition gives outlook and insight. It revels in the garden of magical possibilities. When you trust your intuition, you radiate a quiet confidence that draws others in. Sensing your alignment with something deeper." Quality 4. Inner strength. Confidence in your worth. The fourth quality is inner strength, knowing your value without needing external validation. Carl Jung's concept of individuation emphasizes becoming whole by embracing all parts of yourself, including your flaws. Sarah discovered this when she stopped seeking David's approval. Instead of worrying if he liked her, she focused on her own growth, painting, journaling, and embracing her worth. At an art show, she stood confidently by her work, not needing praise to feel complete. David later said, "Your confidence made me want to know you more." Inner strength isn't loud or aggressive. It's a calm certainty that radiates power, making you magnetic to those who resonate with your truth. Let's make this practical for you. Have you ever noticed a woman who seems to draw people in effortlessly? Maybe she wasn't the loudest or most polished, but her presence felt undeniable, authentic, open, intuitive, strong. These qualities, rooted in Carl Jung's teachings, are what make feminine energy irresistible. Sarah's story shows how they work together. Her authenticity in sharing her love for art set the stage for connection. Her vulnerability in revealing her fears deepened it. Trusting her intuition guided her conversations with David, and her inner strength made her shine without needing his validation. Together, these qualities created a bond that wasn't just romantic, it was transformative. Carl Jung's insight is that these qualities aren't about doing something to be loved. They're about being in memories, dreams, reflections. He wrote, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." Sarah chose to become herself, flaws, passions, and all, and that choice made her energy magnetic. She didn't need to perform or chase love. Her presence invited it. If you've ever felt the need to hide parts of yourself to be loved, these qualities are your path back to yourself. Start small. Share a true passion. Express a fear. Trust a gut feeling. Or stand in your worth. These acts align you with your feminine energy, drawing the right people to you. Sarah's journey shows the power of these qualities in action. When she embraced authenticity, vulnerability, intuition, and inner strength, she didn't just attract David, she attracted a deeper connection with herself. Carl Jung would say, this is individuation at work, becoming whole by living your truth. In the next chapter, we'll explore 3 practical steps to cultivate these qualities in your own life, so you can radiate feminine energy that captivates naturally. Stay with us to discover how to unlock your magnetic power with Carl Jung's guidance. How do you tap into the feminine energy that captivates without effort? Carl Jung's wisdom shows that it's not about changing who you are, it's about embracing your true self through authenticity, vulnerability, and inner alignment. In this chapter, we'll explore 3 practical steps, inspired by Carl Jung's concepts of individuation and the shadow, to help you cultivate the magnetic feminine energy we discussed in Chapter 3. Through Sarah's journey, we'll see how she transformed her relationships by living from herself, and how you can do the same to radiate a presence that draws love naturally. Let's dive into the steps to unlock your irresistible feminine energy. Carl Jung believed that feminine energy becomes magnetic when you align with yourself, the core of who you are, rather than the persona you wear to please others. In the relations between the ego and the unconscious, he wrote, individuation means becoming a single, homogeneous being. And insofar as individuality embraces our innermost uniqueness, it also implies becoming one's self. Cultivating feminine energy isn't about tactics to attract others. It's about integrating all parts of yourself, light and shadow, to radiate authenticity and wholeness. These 3 steps: self-reflection, embracing vulnerability, and trusting intuition, will help you embody the qualities of feminine energy we explored, making you a magnet for authentic connections. Step 1. Self-reflection. Face your shadow. The first step is self-reflection, a practice to confront your shadow, the hidden fears, insecurities, or emotions you've suppressed. Carl Jung taught that the shadow holds the parts of yourself you've been taught to hide, like anger or self-doubt, which block your feminine energy. Sarah began this step after years of feeling not enough in relationships. She started journaling, asking herself, "What am I afraid to show?" Her answers revealed a fear of rejection, rooted in childhood moments when she felt she had to be perfect to be loved. By naming these fears, Sarah began to integrate her shadow, freeing her energy from the weight of pretense. Carl Jung wrote in Psychology and Alchemy, "People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their souls." To start, take 5 minutes daily to journal questions like, "What do I hide to be loved?" or "What fears hold me back?" This reflection aligns you with yourself, letting your feminine energy shine. Step 2. Embrace vulnerability. Share your truth. The second step is embracing vulnerability, sharing your true self, flaws and all, without fear of judgment. Carl Jung saw vulnerability as a bridge to the Anima, creating deep emotional connections. Sarah practiced this during a date with David. Instead of hiding her insecurities, she admitted she sometimes felt like a fraud as an artist. To her surprise, David didn't pull away. He opened up about his own doubts, and their bond deepened. Vulnerability isn't about oversharing, it's about being honest in small, brave moments. Carl Jung wrote in Modern Man in Search of a Soul, "We cannot love truly if we are not brave enough to be true." Try this. Share one true feeling or fear with someone you trust, like Sarah did. Maybe it's a passion you're shy about, or a doubt you've buried. This act of courage releases your feminine energy, inviting authentic connections. Step 3. Trust intuition. Let your inner voice guide you. The third step is trusting your intuition, listening to your gut over logic or external expectations. Carl Jung believed intuition connects you to the unconscious, where the Anima's magic lives. Sarah used to overthink every word on dates, trying to say the right thing, but with David, she started following her instincts. At a quiet dinner, she felt a nudge to ask David about his childhood dreams. That simple question led to a conversation that felt effortless and profound, strengthening their bond. Carl Jung wrote in Psychological Types, "Intuition gives outlook and insight. It revels in the garden of magical possibilities." To practice, pause when you feel uncertain in a relationship and ask, "What does my gut say?" Trust that inner voice, even if it defies logic. This alignment with your unconscious makes your feminine energy magnetic, drawing people who resonate with your truth. Let's make this real for you. Have you ever held back your true feelings to seem likable, or ignored a gut instinct because it didn't make sense? Carl Jung's wisdom shows that cultivating feminine energy starts with small, intentional steps toward authenticity. Sarah's journey illustrates this. Through self-reflection, she faced her fear of rejection, journaling about moments she felt unworthy. By embracing vulnerability, she shared her insecurities with David, creating a space for mutual openness, and by trusting her intuition, she guided their conversations to deeper places, building a connection that felt natural. Together, these steps aligned her with herself, making her energy irresistible not because she tried, but because she was fully herself. Carl Jung's concept of individuation is key here, becoming whole by integrating your shadow and living authentically. Sarah didn't just attract David, she attracted a deeper relationship with herself. When she journaled her fears, she realized they weren't truths. They were old stories she could rewrite. When she shared her vulnerabilities, she discovered they didn't push people away, they invited closeness. And when she trusted her intuition, she felt a quiet confidence that radiated outward. Carl Jung wrote in Memories, Dreams, Reflections, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. By following these steps, Sarah became that person, and her feminine energy became a beacon for authentic love. These steps aren't about perfection, they're about progress. You don't need to master them overnight. Start where Sarah did, with a journal entry, a small moment of honesty, or a quiet pause to listen to your gut. Each act aligns you with yourself, amplifying your feminine energy. For Sarah, this meant showing up to dates without a script, sharing her art and fears, and trusting her instincts to guide her. David didn't just fall for her, he was drawn to the woman who was whole, not chasing validation. Her energy wasn't loud or demanding, it was steady, real, and magnetic, inviting a connection that transformed them both. This process shifts you from chasing love to attracting it. Carl Jung taught that when you live from yourself, you create a frequency that draws the right people to you. Sarah's story proves this as she embraced these steps. She noticed men weren't just attracted to her, they respected her, stayed longer in conversations, and felt safe to be themselves. In our final chapter, we'll explore how these qualities and steps lead to soul-level connections that go beyond romance, transforming your life. Stay with us to learn how to live from your feminine energy and let love find you. Your feminine energy is a force that captivates when you embrace your true self. Carl Jung's wisdom reveals that by living authentically through authenticity, vulnerability, intuition, and inner strength, you become a magnet for love that's deep, real, and transformative. Sarah's journey showed us how aligning with herself turned her into a beacon of feminine energy, drawing a connection that changed her life. Carl Jung wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." Today, you're closer to that truth, ready to radiate a presence that doesn't chase love, it attracts it effortlessly. So, what's one step you'll take to embrace your feminine energy today? Maybe it's journaling your fears, sharing a truth, or trusting your intuition. Share your commitment in the comments below. Your story could inspire someone else. Don't let this moment slip away. Hit that like button. Share this video with a friend ready to unlock their true power. And subscribe to Jung Psyche Hub. Tap the bell for more insights to awaken your soul. Stop performing. Start shining. Your feminine energy is already within you. Let it transform your life today.